the man who self-proclaimed, famously said that he does not believe in depression. He is finally admitting that he is suffering from mental health issues, anxiety, and stress-related issues due to the ongoing problems and controversies that he is creating for himself. Um, with all this going on, Andrew Tate is somebody who rose to um, infamy, I guess. He became one of the most viral people on the internet. About 3 years ago now. Okay, about 3 years ago. Um, causing massive controversies on the internet by saying, some in politically correct things. Okay, things that the mainstream media did not agree with, didn't really talk about. He is somebody who, because of his viral um you know um his virility on the internet, going so literally being everywhere, dominated on all platforms due to his social media pyramid scheme that he was running. Where people would clip up his podcast appearances in order for them to make shorts and funnel eyeballs and people back to his social media website, his Hustle Universities, the course that he was selling, promising for people to become wealthy online. Okay, it was a great business model, right? Nobody was really using it and utilizing it, and now you kind of see it everywhere. You see many people copying a similar sort of style, trying to use that same engagement, make controversial clips online, and then chop it up to make people to chop it up, make shorts out of it. So it drives more traffic to your content. Okay, and on the back end, you obviously have something that you're selling normally. If you're not selling something, you got major sponsorship deals with gambling companies, betting companies online, and these people are paying for it. Okay, it is now kind of the tried and tested way that internet marketing has moved forward. So, whatever you think about him, he was kind of the first one to do it, right? But now, he is slowly, with everything on the internet. Okay, he's slowly fading away. He is fallen off. He is now considered irrelevant. New people have come into the sphere. New kids on the block, particular the streamers such as Neon, people like iShow Speed, people like Clavicular in particular. Have kind of replaced him and taken that mantle, and still using some of the things within his playbook, but also kind of toning it down so that they can just keep engaging eyeballs and um cranking out you know viewership towards their content, right? It is a funnel that he created, and especially since his boxing match earlier this year or late last year, I believe. Since his loss, he's kind of had to track back on a lot of the things that he said. And today we are going to be looking at where he is now, whether this is the end of him, whether he is finished, whether he can make a resurgence. I mean, there's only so many times you can hear the same message from him without it getting boring, without it getting tiresome, and especially because he used so much rage, because he used so much urgency within his message. When you kind of do that, it is hard to maintain, right? Because if you're saying like, oh, the world's about to end, the world's about to end, and then okay, like 3-4 years later down the line, we're like, okay, bro, like what now? What the fuck happened? Okay, we're still in the same fucking place. A lot of people will become tired, a lot of people will become bored, and then they will look for something new, something more entertaining, something distracting, because that is what the internet is now. It is just a place for people to be distracted, drown their sorrows, to numb themselves. This brain rot content isn't going away, because reality and life is difficult, it is hard, many people are suffering. We're living through a cost of living crisis, with many people becoming more and more isolated, socially isolated, people not entering into relationships, fertility rates falling, a whole generation of men, becoming sexless, not dating. And this is more of a problem for the men. I think for the women, they have their own difficulties in dating, but they're still going on dates. They're still getting attention, whereas a big chunk, a big group of men are isolated and shunned and not even seen, right? Are becoming irrelevant, right? And that is a dangerous place because a lot of these people will, um, it could turn ugly, right? It could turn and spiral into something dangerous. But you also have to remember that now, because everything is so comfortable, everything is attainable very easy. I mean, you can order food, you can order a taxi via your phone. Everything you can pretty much do on your phone, right? You don't have to leave your house. This is many people are becoming docile, complacent, lazy, um, and weak, right? Many people are kind of beaten down. They're tired, right? And when you have a whole generation of people who are suffering but are tired, and then you have this easily available distraction, which is the internet, which is social media platforms, right? Brain rot content. It's going to lead to people just fading away. Okay, it is like there's not going to be that big revolution. There's not going to be like a big, uprising or anything. It's just going to be a bunch of tired people who are easily manipulated, and that is the position that world governments want you to be in. That is the position that the World Economic Forum wants you to be in. Okay, organization which has infiltrated governments, big corporations, any relevant entity, company around the world, has its ties to the World Economic Forums, right? Millionaires, billionaires, policymakers, and they are so slowly engineering via government policies, via corporate policies, to turn the world into a surveillance state, to turn it into a easily um, you know, docile state where its residents are constantly surveilled, under surveillance. They're being told what to do, being told how to feel, and they're being programmed by these algorithms by design to become dumber, to have shorter attention spans, so that they cannot focus, they cannot progress. And in the background, you also have these huge entities and governments creating wars, creating catastrophes around the world, man-made, which is causing supply shocks around the world. Okay, I mean, all you gotta do is look at what's going on in Iran. You have this war with Iran and the US and Israel, right? Which are you know is causing the supply chain, through the goods that travel through the Strait of Hormuz to slow down. Um, the supply chain is having to reroute, which increases costs. It can increases in the price of oil, which again adds to transportation costs, fuel costs, which is a problem felt all across the world, especially with many people already in a cost of living crisis, many people struggling financially, many people not in work, on the brink of losing their jobs, due to AI coming, and a lot of jobs being replaced and autonomized by AI. When you have a situation like this is a perfect storm, a perfect recipe for people to end up absolutely um, you know, clueless and absolutely directionless, in a situation where they're going to find themselves in big trouble, right? And then once they are in big trouble, the only people that they can depend on, well, it won't be people, because as I said before, many people are isolated, many people don't have any real social connections or real friends in real life anymore. They'll find themselves in where they can only rely on the policymakers, governments, okay, the rulers of each country to help them out. Okay, and what does helping out in this scenario mean? It means giving up more autonomy, giving up more freedom. And that is the big engineered plan that these entities have. Okay, I mean, all you gotta do is look at the World Economic Forum's big Agenda 2030, their plans of how they believe the world should be governed, how societies should be structured, how cities should be shaped. Okay, these 15-minute cities, where your carbon footprint is measured, where the government's decide of how much meat you consume, okay, because obviously meat has a larger carbon footprint than you know um you know vegetarian foods, I guess. And this is going to lead to mass changes in how we live, how mass changes in how we behave, in our eating habits. And again, this is slowly to funnel you into a world where you have less control, less autonomy. And the thing is, like you will be so fatigued by the constant fear and stress and anxiety ridden world that you live in, that you won't be able to even notice um or fight against it. This is just something that is happening to you, that is, where you're being led down. And in a couple of years time, you might find, be like, hang on, like, things have absolutely fucking changed compared to 5 years ago. you know um you're in essence, you're being boiled alive, and you're not noticing the changes in heat, okay, until it's too late, right? It's like a lobster, like a crab being boiled, um like a frog being boiled in a pan, and by the time you've noticed that, hang on, we're in fucking hot boiling water, it will be too late. And this is a message that obviously Andrew Tate, he saw all these different conspiracies, all these different ideas floating about the internet, and he kind of amalgamated them, and rearranged them into one single package of him, telling you what the matrix is according to him, and how to fight against it. And the way that he decided to fight against it was by um you know becoming this uber masculine alpha male type, by suggesting that that you have to fight against the matrix, that you have to escape the matrix, and the best way to do it is by getting filthy rich. Oh, and by the way, you know since I'm telling you what the problem is, the solution is, if you sign up to my course, my website, you will be able to, I will tell you how to escape. Okay, so he became this cult like figure. He became somebody who many people turn to. um you know he told a whole generation of people who were really hurt, who were directionless, who didn't have a clue how to sort their life out, that they needed to become something greater than themselves, that they needed to change the way they live, and become very wealthy to escape the oncoming troubles. And then he was also perfectly positioned himself to sell you the way to escape. Okay, he was the one shouting that there's a fire, and then he was also telling you that, okay, here's a fire extinguisher as well, which you need to buy for me at a subscription of $49.99 a month. All right, that is how he became wealthy. But that influence has now slowly dwindled. Okay, his messaging isn't hitting, resonating with you know the next generation on the internet. Okay, I mean, even though this was only a couple of years ago, I mean, the content creation sphere, the content online moves so quick. The news cycle moves so quick that you can't even keep up. Many people assume that he is now even being controlled by the establishment, the matrix himself, that he was decided to fight against. And he is now a controlled puppet, which kind of makes sense because of all his court cases that he had, all the situations that he found himself in, that he kind of had to relinquish, and in essence sell out, due to otherwise he was facing prison. Okay, so they were like, look, we're going to put you in jail, but if you do as we say, if you push our message, we will allow you some freedom. Okay, so, and a lot of people have noticed this. A lot of people have, that they become bored with him. He's lost his influence, and now this is kind of like the final leg, the final last hurrah for Andrew Tate. I'm sure he will keep attempting to come back, but we will never see him quite hit the heights that he did previously. We will see him, I mean, he is slowly becoming more and more sad to watch, more and more of a joke. And that is what we're exploring today. Let's jump into the video.
When you're at the peak of your powers, it can be a long way to fall. And right now, it's a reality that Andrew Tate is struggling to wrap his head around. One scene.
Yeah, I mean, this is someone who believed in his own hype. Okay, many people have assumed that he brainwashed himself, that he hired a hypnotist to hypnotize him to believe that he was this ultimate male figure, this ultimate alpha male who cannot lose, he cannot do any wrong, that he was this supreme leader, and for a whole generation of young people, he kind of was. He was a breath of fresh air. He was telling some people to regain agency of their own lives, telling them to work out, telling them to fight, to be dangerous, to become masculine in a world where many men had lost their way. Um, and because he was succeeding, because he was on the way up, because he was positioned in a moment of time where many people felt this isolation to reap the benefits from it, and because of his success, because he bought into his own success, it also, allowed him to feel like he was invincible. When you have like a he has psychopathic tendencies, sociopathic tendencies, narcissistic tendencies, and when you have a person like that, who's then being told by the world, look how fucking great you are, and pissing a lot of people off, and then a lot of people also cheering for him, he did believe he was undefeatable, right? He believed that he was invincible, and which kind of, his false perception, his his false narrative that he built up for himself, once there was a chink in it, once it got shattered, once someone broke through it. I mean, I think the big turning point was him losing the fight. It really hurt his ego, and now you kind of just seeing a man claw back, trying to repiece the fragments of his shattered ego to connect it back together so that he can build himself up. Um, and that is what you're going to see, as long as Andrew Tate is, still making content, still trying to cling on to relevancy. You're going to see him in this little sphere. I believe, he probably's got enough money stashed away, that he could just, retire comfortably and sit in the background, but his ego won't allow it. Okay, he needs attention. He is addicted to attention. I mean, that is what he is built for. And it is also a warning. If your whole business model is reliant on you being famous, you having relevancy, being cheered on by people, a large group of people, right? That you're constantly fighting these battles, inserting yourself in conversations where you really, there's no need for it, right? You're also going to be always chasing those highs, which is what Andrew Tate is doing. Okay, I mean, he is somebody who's gone on record now saying that, he doesn't actually enjoy any of those things that he preaches, those materialistic things that you need to get. Okay, women, cars, money. He doesn't actually even enjoy it. He doesn't respect it. He just needs to be told that he is amazing at all times. He wants to be told that he is, he is a leader, that he's a ruler of his little community, and he also needs to be in battles all the time. Okay, and that is not a healthy way to live. That is a world where, once things go wrong, things will spiral out of control for him. Okay, and he will be left with a lot of egg on his face. And the problem is that some of his messaging was saying that, that he doesn't believe in depression, in your mental health, in therapy, things like that, which a lot of people, not every human is the same. Some people, they need exercise to feel good. Some people they need community, they need friends to be happy. And this person, because he doesn't believe those things, now that he's suffering from it, his messaging has now become scrambled and mixed up, and it is a kind of catch-22 that he finds himself in.
As the most controversial man on the internet, who had intercepted the brains of a generation of impressionable kids, his status as the king of the manosphere domain had a lot of people thinking that he was legitimately dangerous.
On your X account, to millions of people, you've said this: stop letting women vote, stop giving women position as judges, stop giving women political appointments. As soon as only men run government and law, all the problems disappear. Women now understand that without male protection, they're nothing but victims.
Armed with,
again, I mean, sometimes when he probably sits there and he decides to make his little tweets, when he tries to make his remarks, he probably thinks, how many people can I piss off with this? Okay, and he probably got like a little like a little gauge where he'd be like, okay, if I say this, it will piss off this group of people. And if he decides to piss off, go after women, and try to say, we need to take him out of positions of power, out of decision making positions in the world, a lot of women are going to be pissed off. All women will be pissed off, right? A lot of men will be pissed off. People who kind of, even people like who don't give a shit will kind of be pissed off, because it's like, why are you even doing this? Like, he is creating a gender war in a place where there's no need for a fucking gender war. It's like, okay, look, man, like there's female equality in the world, right? Okay, like we find ourselves in this position, right? Let's move forward, okay? But instead of looking forward, he's like his position is to regress back, right? The cat's out of the bag, okay? If you this isn't like 150 years ago where women didn't have any fucking rights. This is, this is the modern world. Women have had rights for many years, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, whatever thing you believe. It's like, okay, but this is the position we find ourselves in now, okay? So instead of reverting back and taking away power and moving backwards, which you won't be able to do, because then you're creating division, okay? Instead, we need to move forward in it to a place where we can all come to a resolution to make the world a better place, okay? But having these divisions and him making these opinions and broadcasting them is further riling up a lot of women, okay? And then they turn around and then they blame all men, right? And he unelectedly becomes a spokesman for all men, which is just a position where it's just not true. And the other thing is like most people who actually most people don't care, right? So it's only a select group of people online who are getting pissed off. And then, but because this is happening online, and because more and more time is spent online, it's kind of then those things that happen on the internet gets painted and broadcasted, and everybody kind of gets assumed that this is happening all around the real world, because those two worlds are melting together. But the people who don't actually give a fucking shit about this type of shit, this type of things, also get brought into the conversation. And you have to realize is yeah, man, like that is the place that we find ourselves in, and we are moving towards a world where the real world, not the physical world that we live in, and the world on the internet are kind of maligning, and that there aren't any real different countries anymore. Okay, I mean obviously there are, but what I mean is even though you might be in America or Japan, for example, okay, or the Middle East, right? We can all connect into this one place and see what everyone else is fucking doing, see what else other things people are talking about, and that is the real new place where people and conversation and ideas are being shared. Okay, so you might be living in the physical world wherever you are, but the ideas and your ideas living in your mind, right? And ideas are being shared on the internet. So then your mind is engaging in the world of the internet, but you physically are living in reality, in the real world. But those two worlds are merging, and it's leading to more division, right? And this division is caused by the people in charge of the world, because the more the world is divided, the easier it is for them to control people, and the easier that they find they find the people in control of the world to manipulate people into a state of anxiety, into a state of weakness. Okay, they win, right? So the system that they have produced, the system that they have created, they are winning, right? This is why you need to bring about a new system. This is why you cannot succeed in the system. You have to leave the system, and this is what I tell you: to create your own system, create your own kingdom, become a subject matter expert, use the internet to climb up the ranks, be seen in the world of the internet, be seen, become a subject matter expert, gain authority, and then collect people to join your kingdom, okay, and then save those people, right? And then create your own little niche in the world in order for you to live a happy life, okay? Like we don't know where we're headed, especially there's so many fucking things up in the air right now, especially with AI, and a lot of people who are in charge of that technology kind of ready to surrender and use it as kind of like worship AI, okay? Like whatever decisions AI decides to make, like we'll follow it. And people like Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, like these people are kind of pioneering and engineering that, and because they're the ones who are allowing this to happen, they're also trying to gain favor and position themselves in a place where they have enough money to isolate themselves from this technology. And in case that shit's a fan across the globe, that those people find themselves able to afford protection, bunkers, by countries, so that in case there is a war that happens, that they can escape And that is the scenario that I want from you. By becoming a subject matter expert, I want you to make enough money to build your own private island, but build a nation, build a kingdom so that you can escape any of the oncoming onslaughts that these people are engineering in the background, so that you at least get to live like a supreme leader, live like a king, enjoy life, okay? And you and your followers, the people within your kingdom, will be safe. They will enjoy life.
Endless money from his legion of fans, and other contentious money-making schemes that placed him firmly on the radar of law enforcement, Tate was treated like the champion of the online world, to the point that other streamers just openly humiliated themselves in front of him.
Will you do something for me or not, Aiden?
Okay, but Kyle, can you come with me, bro? You're my best friend. We have to go to
I'll come with you. I got you. Are there bad bitches there?
I don't know if there are. I don't know if you'll be able to find them or if they'll talk to you. The point is, Aiden said he'd do something for me.
You know who the fuck I am?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
You're telling me a girl's fucking you.
And this is, this was his strategy. His strategy was to use other famous people, other people, young people who, like Aiden Ross, jump, because he had a massive platform. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world. He jumped on his platform, got him to befriend him, kind of see Andrew Tate as this older brother, a fatherly figure, a role model, and then all his fans kind of, he was able to steal the fans of Aiden Ross, right, towards and funnel them to his website. Okay, I mean, a real alpha male wouldn't, even engage in these conversations with these fucking children. I mean, this is obviously a couple of years ago, and you can see that Neon just looks like a 12-year-old, 14-year-old boy there, right? Having this internet drama, internet beef online, and he's sitting there topless as well, right? Like flexing his muscles. Obviously, he is trying to create a persona. This was all done for engagement. He knew what he was doing at every step of the way to try and rile up controversy and to have these viral moments such as this.
Your bald ass over me.
Is that SpongeBob on your t-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Neon's the same, right? Like both of these people are playing this character. Neon plays a character of a fucking bumbling fool, this geeky, nerdy, scrawny kid, annoying kid. And then you have Andrew Tate, who's trying to be this mega bully, trying to be like, are you wearing a SpongeBob t-shirt? I mean, this is literally high school stuff that you're watching.
Why am I talking to these children?
And then he goes, why am I talking to these children? Well, let's break that down. Like, Andrew, why are you talking to these children? It's kind of like, it's a little bit sus, isn't it, that you are chatting to a bunch of teenagers, via webcam. I mean, if this wasn't being streamed, if it was done private and you found out, it'd be kind of concerning. Right? Andrew Tate talks to children, talks to teenagers with his top off, shirtless, okay, half naked, and we can only see the top half. I mean, maybe he is fully naked there underneath his desk. Who knows? And it is very sus, his behavior, but he's doing it very strategically. He's doing it to go viral and gain a following amongst isolated, lonely men, people who watch these streams, don't have the best of social lives. Okay, I mean, people who have real friends, they wouldn't sit there watching fucking Aiden Ross and Neon. So the people who are watching these things, they're already in a position where they have issues in their life, and then Andrew Tate will come along and sell them a dream of how to fix those issues.
Okay, you take your inhaler, G.
But Allah has
and then him taking an inhaler on camera like that is probably bullshit as well. They're playing a character. Okay, it's all for views and clicks. They are trying to sell you this fake reality TV shit.
Changed ever since the era where he was unanimously referred to as Top G by his devoted audience. And rather than others in the online world fearing him, he's pretty much getting persistently flamed as his empire crumbles.
Is it fair to say that the greatest fraud check of all time happened on Saturday when Andrew Tate lost to Chase Damore?
Yeah, and this moment when he did lose to Chase Damore, especially for many years when he built himself up to be this character who cannot be defeated, that he is a world champion kickboxer, that he has the skills, and he himself said this, that he has the ability to kill a man with his bare hands, okay, that he is willing to put himself through huge amounts of pain in order to succeed. When this moment happened and he blamed it on, at the end of the day, the better man won, like him, that the Andrew Tate of when he was at the peak of his power would have never reacted that way, okay, which is why you can kind of see, you know, the fake persona, the WWE mask had fallen off with this fight, with this defeat.
An interesting philosophical question, because if you wrap in the persona part of it, then yes, like that's pretty
This might be the quintessential fraud check. If there was any sort of doubt about him winning, he should have never taken this fight. And now he's going online and he's doing the babyface thing of like, you have to live and I'd rather try and fail. No, that's not who you are. Your persona has nothing to do with failure.
And now,
yeah, and this is the thing, right? Like he should have. I mean, if he came out and said that the match was fixed, that, you know, he got sabotaged, that he got drugged before the match or some reason like that would have been the old Andrew Tate. Do you get what I mean? Like, you know, not taking responsibility and blaming the world, right? That is, and people would have bought into him. Okay, that's the character that he portrays. That is the character that he has built up for himself. Yeah, and we didn't see any of that. What we saw was this him playing this humble character, which wasn't on brand. Nobody ever saw that side of him, and he didn't want to show off that side. Okay, like you cannot be this macho alpha male, you know, win at all costs character, and then, you know, the moment that you lose, you know, you start retreating and going back on your word, and especially him being a person who preaches about integrity all the time. Many people saw that moment, were like, ugh, like you gave it a big one, right? Like you bigged yourself up so much, and then at the end, like that is the shit that you came out with. Like it's, yeah, it really fucked up his brand. It fucked up him as a person, and I think he didn't know how to react. And I think because he bought into his own hype that he was this you know, invincible person, it backfired, because I think he probably didn't train as hard, right? He didn't take it seriously. I mean, the guy smokes like, you know, like fucking 4, 5, 6 cigars a day, right? So I mean, he hasn't got, of course he's not going to be able to fucking have the stamina to compete in the ring when he's fucking blowing out smoking cigars all day, right? Not taking you're training seriously. It is absolutely crazy that he allowed himself to be in this position, right, to hurt his own fucking brand. The people who are advising him really need to also look at themselves and be like, you know, man, you fucked up a lot of people's jobs in this scenario, right? And he won't be able to kind of recover, and he's now, you know, like recently he's been on a stream again, kind of on with Clavicula, who's like the new kid in town, the new hot topic, and he's kind of like trying to now big bro him, he's trying to like buddy up to him. It's just sad to watch, right? Like that this was a person who came out nowhere, got up right to the top of the food chain in terms of content creation, social media presence online, and then now he's kind of just sucking up to these younger, you know, new generation kids on the block, trying to give them business advice when they're like, bro, like we don't care, we don't need you, mate. Okay, but he is trying to shoehorn himself into the conversation in order to stay relevant.
the man who previously suggested that he had it all figured out is conceding that maybe his life isn't as fulfilling as he once thought.
I think that the things you own you.
Okay.
And perhaps you could have a whole bunch of money. If you want to live a very simple life, then you have more freedom. That's true.
Yeah.
But if
I mean, that's not what he said, you know, 3-4 years ago. Okay, like he was the one telling you to fucking buy Rolexes, telling you to buy supercars, right, to live this flash lifestyle, and now he's like, well, you know, like, you know, the things that you own you. Like why are you flip flopping? Okay, and it'll be different if he was flip flopping in a way to be like, look, I rode, you know, I played this social media game, I rose to the top, I've lived a life of luxury, and now I've realized that this is not what I want. And then if he goes into a direction of you know, okay, being this humble guy, living a wholesome life and changing his messaging, right, then it'll be okay. But then you see him also flip flop and then still kind of try to pull the same stunt, being like, look how rich I am, look how many wives I've got, look how many children I have, look how many supercars I have, look at my Rolex and all this shit, right? Like he still tries to play both sides, and it's, again, there's a massive confusion happening to him, right? That his messaging is all over, which is why you can tell that this guy isn't a subject matter expert in his field. Okay, this guy he doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't know what he's living, he's kind of just throwing random shit out there to protect his brand, and to also gain new followers from both sides of the fence. Okay, he's trying to be like a spiritual monk, being, telling you this. Oh, okay, like, you don't have to be materialistic. Okay, the things you own you. And then at the same time, he's like, still trying to flex his supercars on you, trying to flex his luxurious lifestyle on you.
You're stupid like me, and you have a whole bunch of money and 102 cars and 33 houses and 4 baby mamas and a jet and a yacht. And you start getting all this shit. You turn out that.
I mean, it's okay. Like if he really realized that owning the things that you own you, then why not give it away? Do you know what I mean? Like why not give it away? Why not sell it off? Right? Why not? Why still keep the 102 supercars? Like, and very specifically, right? Like, he lists you all the shit he got, so that you were like, oh wow. I mean, he's got a lot of wealthy stuff. Maybe I should listen to him. Okay, maybe I need to now listen and take his advice. Maybe I can learn something from him. He's trying to do the reason why, for example, if you look into Buddhism, right? Buddhism is like one of the world's biggest religions. It's all about how the world of materialism isn't the real world, that you need to live like a spiritual life, that you need to connect with real meaning in your life, and not with the material things. Okay, and that little message that he just gave there about the things that you own you, that your world is wrapped around ego, and to live and to connect with God, you need to shed your ego, and that is the way to spirituality, right? That is what Buddhism teaches. And the reason why the original Buddha, was he was a Indian prince, okay, who lived in a royal court, who went out into the real world, saw the pain and suffering in the world, and then decided to not carry on to being a prince, to not become a king, right? To shed all his material possessions, and then just go meditate to achieve enlightenment, right? Which is what his aim was, okay? But the reason why it worked for the Buddha, right, in Buddhism, is because he was a very wealthy person from a royal family, and then he got rid of all those material possessions, and then lived this spiritual life to reach enlightenment. He was able to shed his ego, and then he became this religious leader who then went out on and taught what it is to really to truly live in this world, and to reach spirituality and to reach enlightenment. Andrew Tate tells you that message, but then he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to keep all the shit that I've got, so that he can play both sides of the fence, that he'll continue to be this spiritual person, giving you spiritual guidance apparently, and then also live a materialistic, luxurious lifestyle. It's like you can't have both, right? That is not a way to win, and this is why his messaging is getting mixed up.
You don't own it owns you, because every day you're getting problems dealing with these things.
Yeah, and especially with someone like Andrew Tate, who gave you this illusion of him being in total control at all times. A man like that doesn't allow the things that he owns to own him. Right. So again, now he's kind of admitting defeat there, that he's being swallowed up by this world of materialism, and that he finds himself in limbo. He is confused. He doesn't know what to do, what to turn, because he spent his whole life achieving those accolades, and now he doesn't kind of enjoy it. He's in a weird headspace. He doesn't know where to turn.
It's your boy Luesta, live from Lu Extras, and this is the decline of Andrew Tate. From the once indestructible image cracking, to the fights that stopped backing his tough talk, and the empire that once had everyone watching slowly turning against him. At the moment, it seems like Tate is hemorrhaging aura every time he opens his mouth. But when it comes to this historically bad run he's on, it's hard to point to a clear example of where things started to go wrong than his trip inside the boxing ring. After initially retiring from kickboxing in 2016 following an eye injury, Andrew...
Yeah, I mean, and even his previous claims that he was this world famous, world champion kickboxer, that he was a world champion, even those claims are kind of dubious, because people have looked into his past, into what he actually done. It was a lot of stat padding, a lot of fights that he took against people who never had, they never themselves won a single fight in their own careers, and he just fought them just to get another win under his belt. And the organizations that he did fight under, there were very shady organizations. A lot of people have claimed that a lot of it was fixed. A lot of the fights that he himself had, there seems to be no actual record of those fights ever taking place, right? So a lot of it is just stat padding, fabrication, okay? And it kind of makes sense because people looked at his skills in the ring. So even though he was a much older version of the fighter that he once was, a lot of the skills and fighting habits he should have still be able to pick up, okay? And this is just something that we just didn't see when we saw him in his little fight with Chase Demore in the Misfits ring. Again, and a lot of it, what is coming to light now is that this persona that he built up, this character, was staged, was faked, manufactured, and people are now realizing, and once the mask is falling off, people are realizing what this guy was really about.
His brief return to the ring as a professional fighter in 2020 amounted to just 4 fights in Romania. After that, he stepped away from competing until it was announced in late 2025 that he would re-enter the ring to compete for the Misfits Boxing Heavyweight Champion. The end result would be a defeat to Chase Demore via a majority decision in a 6-round Misfits boxing contest in Dubai. A matchup where Tate's body seemed to quit on him after the second time off the stool and led to a pretty embarrassing showing. Throughout his time as a public figure, Tate has made a whole lot out of his fighting prowess, even in the run-up to this bout.
Yeah, and this is where he wasn't a subject matter expert at fighting, okay, because he wasn't about it. Like his it was a manufactured illusion of him being this great kickboxer, and then once he was tested in real time at what he was doing, the illusion faded, right? And this is why I'm always telling people, if you're going to what you should do is become a subject matter expert in something that you truly enjoy, something that you actually want to become good at, something where you can rise to the top, and it's legit, okay? The thing that you are good at, the thing that you're telling people that you're good at, it is legit, okay? And by becoming a subject matter expert in the field, you have a real authority. And once you have real authority, you have this real leadership abilities. People look to you and defer to you and want guidance from you. I mean, people wanted guidance from Andrew Tate because he gave the illusion of being a subject matter expert, of having authority. And then once he was put to the test, it all crumbled. Okay, but if you are somebody who becomes a subject matter expert and is the real deal, has authority, and is seen to be a point of authority, a leader for people, then when they come to you and ask you for guidance, you can back it up because you are the real deal. It's not manufactured, it's not fake. And that is why we here at Raw Instinct, this is how we will succeed. This is what we are forming, the Raw Atlanta Kings, 100 Kings, real experts, real people with real authority. And when push comes to shove, when shit hits the fan, you won't crumble like him. It is all built on real success, which is what we are doing, which is what we are helping each other achieve. Okay, it is a unique set of people that we are bringing together. Okay, the Avengers that we are assembling to take on the evil elites, the people who are running the world, to bring a new voice, a new perspective, a new way of living, a new alternative to the people in the world, okay? Because humanity is being crushed right now. Humanity is being driven out of this world, okay? They are trying to replace you. They're trying to replace you with AI robots, okay? They're trying to replace you, they're trying to stop you from having children. They're trying to crush the everyday man, okay? And I believe in humanity, I believe in people, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am going against the grain. I'm going against the people who are in charge of the world right now. We are moving away, we are stepping away, we are building our own thing. We are escaping the system and creating our own, okay? And that is what we're about. That is what we're doing. We are building a Royal Alliance of Kings, the Amichis, which I'm bringing together, so that we can stand shoulder to shoulder, side by side, to go up against our enemies, so that we can defeat them and we can bring hope in a world where there is no hope.
He made it seem as if Chase would be easy for someone as evolved as him to dispatch, and that this would be a triumphant return.
He's got a big mouth. He likes to show off, likes to get clicks. It's exactly what I thought he'd be. He's just a product of the new generation. Like I said, I don't think he thinks properly before he talks. I think he will regret saying that. Well, I know.
I mean, this guy doesn't really think before he talks, does he? He just believes in his own hype. He said a bunch of random shit, which was manufactured. Okay, I mean, if he was really thinking, he would have told himself like, "Hey, man, I'm not really about that, and this might be this fight could go either way." And then for him to be so assured beforehand, and for him to have that result is a bad look. It's just a bad look, okay? And this is something I don't think he will ever recover. The only thing he could do is to fight someone, legit, beat that person to just get some aura back and at this moment, okay? But even then, I think it would just be dubious. I think even if he was to go and fight somebody and win, people will now, because they've seen him as this manufactured character, they wouldn't believe that that fight was legit. There'll be claims that it was rigged, that he paid people off, just to get someone to pay that. It's the same way that what's his name, Jake Paul for a retired Mike Tyson, a man in his 60s, beat him, right? But Jake Paul walked away, with on the record him having been beaten Mike Tyson, okay, and that, even though it was a stupid fight, it shouldn't have happened. Mike Tyson walked away with a lot of money, okay. Jake Paul walked away with the ability to say that I beat Mike Tyson, right, for the rest of his life, one of the most dangerous fighters to have ever graced the ring. And once Jake Paul fought someone in his prime, an actual heavyweight champion who is still fighting, still competing in real heavyweight fights, once he done that, he had his jaw broken, okay. But they're still, Jake Paul walks away, even though Jake Paul lost and Andrew Tate lost, but Jake Paul walks away with more respect because at least he got in the ring with a real fighter, right? Andrew Tate lost to Chase the More. Nobody knew who this guy was. So apparently he was some Love Island, Temptation Island, reality TV star. Nobody has ever heard from him. Nobody has heard of him from him since. Like, no, this guy is just irrelevant. No one gives a shit about him. Okay, and he fought this guy thinking that he'll gain some internet points by beating him, and it's absolutely derailed his whole career, his whole business model, and now he is scraping, trying to claw back some type of relevance.
He'll regret it. I'll make him regret it, but I think even himself, he'll regret saying that. I just don't think he was thinking of it. I've definitely missed the whole the vibe of the gym, the camaraderie you have with the other people you're training with. I missed the brotherhood, but I knew exactly what I was getting in for. I knew exactly what I was going to be preparing for. I knew exactly what we were going to have to do. I knew how hard it was going to be. I was very excited by it, and we're coming to the end of that now. The training's been done. It's time to fight. So
instead of making Chase eat his words in the way he guaranteed, Tate wound eating the canvas. And from the moment it was revealed that he lost, the masses celebrated. Andrew Tate has spent years mocking and demeaning men who are compassionate, have empathy, and treat women with respect, only to be knocked out by a guy wearing pink gloves.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense why he took it. Like, did he feel like he needed to? Like, what was he trying to prove? People already believed that he was a legit fighter. I mean, you had people who, were legit MMA competitors in the past. Say, yeah, look, man, I've seen some videos of Andrew Tate, and he seems legit. Even like people like Joe Rogan kind of said, yeah, I've seen some videos. He seems legit. No one questioned it. Right, but so he could have just gotten away with it for the rest of his life. People thinking that he is a serious fighter, that he is somebody who is a legit world champion at kickboxing. But then he fucking threw himself in the ring and absolutely lost all credibility by doing this move.
After all the tough talk, Andrew acted a bit more humble after losing. But even then, he kept saying that he wasn't making excuses, while clearly making excuses.
Yeah, obviously I didn't get the result I wanted, but truthfully the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it.
and the reframes, the jumping of hoops that he was going through after the fight to win over, get back credibility, that I only took this fight to see if I could still do it. No, like who gives a shit? Like, you already done it 10, 15 years ago, apparently. Like move on, bro. There's no need for you to come back out of retirement. Like, nobody asked for this. This is a situation that you put yourself in. And then he is now trying to play all humble, being like, yeah, look, my body gave out, age catches up to you. When this guy was for many years telling you that he had the mental capabilities to overcome any type of obstacle, even age can't slow him down, when clearly he never even had it to begin with.
4 years old, 10 years retired, a little bit of time in a Romanian dungeon. It was always going to be
And then he's blaming his time on being in a Romanian prison. When you all have to remember that Mike Tyson went to prison, came back, and won back the heavyweight championship. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, it's I mean, it is just absolutely word salad. He is spitting out. He is trying to, scramble up your mind by the words that he's giving you, and his hardcore followers, whether he wins or loses, they'll lap it up. Okay, they'll lap up his excuses. They'll fight for him. When in essence, this is a position that he should have never put himself in the first place.
A big ask against someone so much bigger than me, younger than me, more active.
And now he's like bigging him up, he's so much bigger than me, he's so much younger than me, so much more athletic than me. Like that is not what you were saying before the fight, okay? And one of the reasons why people care so much about him losing this fight is because of all the shit that he said before, right? Which he wasn't able to back up once he was in the
than me, but I wanted a real challenge. I didn't want to fight a tin can. I didn't want to fight someone older than me or smaller than me. I felt like I won the first 2 rounds, but then because he's 20 kilo heavier, he started leaning on me and sapped some energy.
I mean, he's saying he was 20 kilos heavier than him, but he chose the opponent. You have to remember that Andrew Tate is the owner of that boxing, federation, that the boxing promotion. Okay, he owns Misfits, and then he's blaming the fight that he's set up in essence. Okay, then he's blaming him for being 20 kg heavier than him. Okay, like I mean that's not a normal fight that gets sanctioned. Okay, he could have just picked someone his equal weight, equal age if you wanted to. He could have found someone legit instead of being 10, 15 years, 20 years younger, wherever it was. He could have picked someone 5 years younger, in similar sort of health, physical condition, and then you could have saw that fight. Okay, but he chose to go down this road, and now he is telling you the excuses.
I didn't quit, never give up, never retreat, never surrender, fight to the end.
He did quit though. He literally fell to the ground, took the knee, and then I believe the ref had to stop the fight, right? So because he was just gassed out, he couldn't compete at that level anymore.
And go out on your shield. So I have no excuses. Training camp went fantastic. Time is the fire in which we all burn. Unfortunately, a 40-year-old's not a 22-year-old. I gave it my absolute all, and I have nothing but respect for Chase. I have no excuses. I'm not going to say anything bad.
He's saying he's got no excuses, but then he gave you the list of excuses. He's not, Chase is much younger, much more athletic, okay, taller, heavier, all the excuses, and then at the end of it, he says, by the way, I'm not making any excuses. I give him all the respect. It's like bro, like everyone can see what you are doing. Let's carry on.
About him, I'm not going to make up any reasons. He was the man who won. He deserves this victory.
Despite the L that he had taken, his brother Tristan tried to cushion the blow.
Andrew's not the same man he was 10 years ago. He's a lot older than he was.
And you can see his brother, obviously this is, Tristan Tate's older brother. Tristan Tate looks up to him, sees him as the example to follow. You can just see the pain in his eyes, the hurt, how disappointed he himself is. Look, he seems dejected. He even for him to see his idol lose in that capacity is an absolute blow, an absolute devastation.
He showed in the ring, I respect him a lot for getting in there and trying, and I love him, and I support anything he wants to do in the future.
But Andrew just wouldn't drop it, and his own attempts to cope didn't make it any better.
Me coming into this podcast studio was nerve-wracking.
And you can see here is now, a man who's lost his mystique, who's lost his aura, who's lost his self-belief in his own invincibility, is now feeling anxious. Okay, he's feeling stressed out, he's feeling scared, going for a simple podcast, okay, which is he's already done like 100 of these anyway, but he is now a changed man. You can see the way he's sitting there, shoulders scrunched up, right, leaning forward. This guy's not a man who is relaxed at this moment in time.
Out of the car and making it into a building with nothing bad happening to me, I feel adrenaline.
He feels adrenaline doing simple things, okay, because he also knows, he's like, look, man, I've lost so much respect and aura in the public eye, within the online influencer sphere. His reputation has taken a nosedive, and now he's like, well, how do I win it back? And he is very anxious about it. He's very scared about it, because he needs He needs that attention to feed him, to fuel him, to carry on, to make his life worth living.
My fight, because I had so much adrenaline. I had like an adrenaline dump after the second round. I said to my coach, I feel
he had an adrenaline dump. Okay, so this is a man who doesn't believe in excuses. This is a man who doesn't believe in depression. He doesn't believe in letting higher stress situations get the better of him, who admits now that he suffered an adrenaline dump, right? That he suffered something which he's never experienced before. Because then you really have to ask himself, like, did he ever even put himself ever into a legit fight? Okay, was he always fighting in fixed game fights before? Was any of his pre-credentials that he came into the ring with even legit?
Weird. I have like some adrenaline dump. I don't know. I wanted to fight too much.
I mean, that isn't an excuse, okay? I mean, for someone said who I don't want to make any excuses, but I suffered an adrenaline dump. Like, he is now trying to justify what happened, which is, again, he's going against his own words.
It was the weirdest thing in the world. After the second round, I stopped punching. It was like fucking odd.
And even all these months later, he's still making excuses that are getting increasingly ridiculous.
I don't know, my last fight didn't go the way it was supposed to go. Maybe it's a sign from God to try again. Maybe it's a sign from God to gyre. I'm not sure, but it's hard to fight. I state this without arrogance. It's truly hard to fight with those rich. I got a lot. I've got a lot of money. I've got things going on. I've got an empire to maintain. And I did really train hard for the last one. It didn't go my way. So I'm trying to work out what that message was in the suit.
On its own, losing to Demore already looked bad. But the bigger issue is that after seeing him get beaten like that, people started questioning his whole fighting career. Since it went down, people have been delving deep, with a great video from MMA essayist Napoleon Bonaparte really breaking down just how much of it is disputed. Although I'd recommend watching that if it's a subject that interests you in great depth, here's the main takeaways. Half of Tate's fights he supposedly won have no evidence to have ever happened. Over 2/3 of
So this is what I was saying earlier. Like a lot of his career stats were stat padded. A lot of them, there's no record of them, no legit record, no video footage. This is just something that seems fabricated, seems exaggerated, in order to give the illusion that he was this great world champion kickboxer.
The fights that could be verified to have happened are with opponents with no records of ever fighting anyone besides Tate. 3 of his world title wins were against opponents with no records aside from their fights with Tate. The 4th world title he won was from competing against a man with a losing record. None of the titles he won are of very high caliber, and he only ever faced 6 fighters with winning records and lost to 2 of them. So even the only thing believed legitimate about him is not even real. And what makes it worse isn't obvious yet, but as you'll see later in the video, it all starts to connect. To make matters worse, some of his old fight footage is resurfacing, and it really isn't helping either. In the midst of such a hefty mental
and the thing is, like, look, man, like anyone can lose a fight, okay? And obviously, clearly, this guy is in his 40s now. He's not a prime athlete. And him losing this fight kind of makes sense. He fought someone younger, someone more healthier, someone with more stamina. And he wasn't able to compete at that level, which is fine. Okay, it can happen to anyone. And if it happens to anybody else, I think most people wouldn't give a shit as much. Okay, it's just the fucking smack talk that he gave beforehand, not before the fight, in essence. Okay, it's just how he built up his career, all the controversial things that he said to rile people up, to make people angry. Which is, if we just look at that in isolation, it is, controversy gets you viral. Controversy allows you to make a name for yourself. Yesterday we looked at Lily Phillips, for example, who uses controversy to sell, subscriptions to her OnlyFans. It's a proven marketing strategy, right? But it's not sustainable. Okay, and when you collect that many haters online, they're kind of just waiting for your downfall. And the thing is, which is fine. Having haters is fine, okay? I mean, because the more haters you got, the more people you have that you love. But if you've lied to the people that support you, they will also feel disappointed. Do you get what I mean? If everything that was stated was legit, and then you just suffer the defeat, but the way that you've conducted yourself, the way that you've gone about your business was legit. You conduct yourself with integrity and honor. You actively try to make the world a better place instead of spreading hate and division. People are easy and will forgive you, okay, for suffering a loss, which can happen, right? It is a fact that this guy, again, his whole brand is about controversy, riling people up, making them angry, causing division, and then gaining followers and supporters by hyping himself up to be something larger than life, something that he truly is not. Okay, and that is why he now finds himself even losing support from his own followers. Okay, the people who had his back throughout all those years, throughout the controversies, are now looking at him, backtracking, and being like, "Look, man, like we're disappointed. You weren't about the things that you said that you were about."
And physical defeat, the smart thing for Tate to do would probably be to take a back seat from the social media realm he'd once conquered. Instead, he's done the complete opposite, and it's led to nothing but greater indignities along the way. By now, you are probably aware of the HH controversy, a situation where Andrew, his brother Tristan, Clavicular, Myron Gaines, and Sneeko were all seen at a Miami nightclub listening.
Again, I mean, this is a guy who's trying to, like, why was he even there, right? Why was he on this live stream? The reason he was there is because he wanted to piggyback off of because Nick Fuentes, who was there, and Clavicular are like kind of the, like, whatever the red pill movement was, whatever the manosphere was, like, these two people are now kind of the heads of that little niche. They've kind of taken over that sphere, that audience that was left, created by those people, the fresh and fit people by Andrew Tate. Their relevance is dwindling, so now they come along and kind of took that whole movement and started live stream their controversial opinions. Again, Nick Fuentes, controversial figure. Clavicular, not controversial in the sense that he's trying to make people angry, I guess. We're going to give him the benefit of doubt here, but more that he is just doing very crazy, controversial things, like taking drugs in order to stay, to look better, right? And he's made his whole philosophy about looks maxing, about how to look your best in order to, to, as he calls it, ascend, to become, to find success in life. Okay, and now because they have this big audience, these they have a platform, and many viewers. Andrew Tate kind of he tries to shoehorn himself in that conversation, and be seen on stream with those guys, so that he can now piggyback off them to try and steal their followers, to try and gain relevancy again. Okay, I mean, at the start of this video, we saw him talking to Aiden Ross and Neon, right, to try and get some of their audience funneled towards him. He's doing the same thing, but being on the stream, trying to get the followers and viewers of Clavicular and Nick Fuentes, try and steal that following, and aim it towards himself so that he can collect them, so that they can then so that he can sell them his Hustlers University real world online money making program.
To Ye's controversial hit saluting song, the fallout from this was,
and I mean, I've done a video on this before, and it clearly, he shifts the blame onto Sneeko, right? And the reason why he does that is he's trying to whitewash his reputation in that case, and he's also trying to cause more of a media storm, more media frenzy, more of a controversial take, again, more controversy as always with this guy. But when you look at the footage, at all, it was Myron Gaines who wanted to play the song. Okay, nobody else wanted it. It was Myron Gaines. He thought it was funny. But Andrew Tate then tries to make an enemy at Sneeko, just because of their own personal beef, and it is just absolutely ludicrous that this is a 40-year-old man trying to position himself into this scenario, in this weird world, to gain relevancy, to gain followers.
Swift, leading to serious heat on everyone involved.
A Miami Beach nightclub catching heat, accused of celebrating hate with a song about Hitler.
Absolute disgust. Disgusted, horrified.
City leaders react.
And the old Andrew Tate, right? Like regardless of what actually happened on the night, but the old Andrew Tate would have relished this opportunity. Okay, he would have absolutely used this opportunity, because it was, you know, for that week, that like those couple of days after, it was a viral news story online, and it made mainstream media as well in America. He would have loved to have jumped on it and and not give a shit about public opinion towards him. And I think that would have been the moment that he could have maybe gained relevancy. Okay, like a man who is being told by the world that what you did was bad, a man going up against it, not flinching, not caring. That would have been the move. Okay, that's what he should have done. He should have stuck, you know, on brand, on message. He should have stuck to his guns, and not bend down, not apologize, which is exactly what he did, right? And I mean, and then that just feeds more into like Jewish conspiracy, Israeli conspiracy. You know, Andrew Tate has companies now set up in Israel. You know, is he a asset of Israel? Is he being influenced by wealthy Jews? Okay, which is again a long-standing conspiracy all across the world. It kind of feeds into that narrative as well, that this guy has now sold out, that he is scared to poke the bear, that he is scared to actually do anything controversial and do anything to, you know, to piss people off, that he's easily manipulated into carrying on, you know, fighting and staying against, you know, his principles.
To videos making the rounds on social media featuring the Kanye West song with the lyrics "Heil Hitler" over and over again. The same men seen in the club, known as controversial influencers, are also in a video from a limo. In that one, they're singing, and one of them is performing a Nazi salute.
Have people in our city celebrating this. Animals.
This is obviously not welcome in Miami Beach. It should not be welcome anywhere in the world.
On Andrew's part, he suggested that it was all orchestrated to try and bring him down, as according
again, another scenario, another moment where something bad happens. He's caught out, he's at the receiving end of it, and then, you know, it is a big conspiracy against him. You know, the world's against him, the Matrix is against him, people have set him up, you know, people want him to fail, but he's the one who put himself in that position anyway, right? Again, not taking responsibility for these scenarios that he himself manufactures.
to him, the whole thing wouldn't have been a big deal if he wasn't among the people there.
To be honest with you, as for this ridiculous club event, I don't think it's gone viral organically, to be honest with you. I think that if I wasn't there, it wouldn't have gone viral. I think if Myron, Clav, Nick, and the other guy all stood there in the club and played that song, nobody would give it. I would argue they've done it many times before. They play it on their streams all the time. Nobody cares. It only went viral because I was there. And I don't think that's organic. I think that there is an extremely orchestrated campaign designed to make sure that my influence never reaches the level it was previously. I have criminal cases in many countries around the world. To believe that the constant, endless smear of me in the media is somehow organic and not an intelligence campaign is ignorance. And this video was deliberately pushed to damage my ability to defend myself in court.
But that didn't stop.
Again, you know, making excuses for something that he was a part of. You know, he could have just easily said, like, I didn't play the song, I don't know why you're coming after me, fuck off, right? And that's what he should have done. But instead, you know, he uses it, you know, to kind of stay relevancy, because he's trying to create this narrative. It's like the world is against him, and he wants people to be like, why is the world against him? Okay, like what's really going on? And then he's trying to create this, you know, this sympathetic view for himself that, oh no, like poor Andrew Tate, like the world's against him, like, you know, we must protect him at all costs. Look how horrible the world is being towards him, to feed this online drama, to feed this online narrative where, you know, there is a conspiracy against him, and that is how he, you know, wants to stay relevant. That is how he can stay relevant. Instead, you know, he needs to shift his messaging. He needs to come together and choose a, you know, really reflect on where he's going, what he wants to do. Okay, get rid of these court cases. Okay, like finding, like if he needs to go to court, to prove his innocence, like do it. Instead, he is just running around, adding himself and putting himself into a situation where more of this shit can happen. Do you get me? I mean, what does he think would have happened? Him meeting with right wing red pill content creators, like did he think they were just going to go out there, film themselves going to a club? Like they knew, like, these streamers are all about controversy. Okay, they manufacture controversial scenarios that they put themselves into, right? And he is then surprised that, oh, okay, so I hung around with literally like people who generate and manufacture and thrive off of controversy, and then finds himself surprised that, well, I went out with them and I didn't know something bad was going to happen. Like it's fucking implied, okay, that you go out to a nightclub with these people, some shit's going to go down. Okay, it was written in the stars. He, especially for a man who tells himself that he, is 2-3 steps ahead of everybody, that he knows, he has conceived every conceivable scenario, and that he calculates what will happen. Okay, that he's this grand chess master. How did you not see this happen? Okay, why did you not see that this scenario would happen, that someone would do something dumb and then a major news controversy will come out of it, right? Again, it is another chink in the armor. It is another drop of the mask. You see the real Tate. You see the facade falling off.
From attempting to wash his hands of it, shocking his audience by backing down rather than doubling down in ways we're not used to seeing.
I barely even see me at any of this, firstly. But I want to be very careful here because I don't want to deflect too heavily. I don't want to be blaming other people, etc. A whole bunch of songs were played that night, none of which I requested. None. I walk into a nightclub and songs are played. Unfortunately, if anything happens anywhere near me, it gets tied to my name.
In a very uncharacteristic move, he started pointing fingers and taking shots at Sneako, blaming him for the whole situation even though he was there with him.
Sneako always has some crybaby issue with me, and I could sit here and blame
I mean, he says Sneako has a crybaby issue, right? But it is him who's got the crybaby issue, because the very next day he went onto the PBD podcast, Patrick Bet-David's podcast, jumping on there, trying to whitewash his reputation, trying to prove his innocence, I guess, to show the world that he was not involved in any of this. Don't hate me, trying to deflect and steer the hate towards Sneako. And it was very sad to see that man who claims that he's all about integrity stoop so low, right, to a position where he has to now act like this hurt little, I mean, it for someone who as masculine as him, it was very female in nature in what he did.
It all on him, but that's truthfully not, I don't know, that just feels wrong to me. But it is kind of ridiculous. It does feel a bit unfair that I'm standing in a nightclub, a song comes on that I did not request, a song comes on that I do not dance to, I do not repeat the lyrics to, I just stand there.
What a good goy. You don't dance. I'm a good goy. I didn't dance, I just stood there. I wasn't dancing like the rest of those anti-Semites. Look, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, and what he's obviously, you can't play that song on YouTube. He's referring to this video here. Okay, and let me just minimize myself a little bit. So this video was obviously his infamous Bugatti, and in the background he's playing the H song. Okay, he's playing the Kanye West song in the background, way before any of this controversy even began. So he was happy to play along to it, to make social media posts about it. But then when people get angry about it, then he wants to step away and blame other people.
Bro, that's why I thought the song would be fine. I've seen this video. I wouldn't try to backstab you. I wouldn't play a song that would make you upset. Did you think I was setting you up? I don't understand the argument here, genuinely. And I want people to notice, like in 4K, like this is the Matrix right here.
Faced with allegations that he sold Sneako out, there has been ongoing mudslinging between the two since, with Andrew regularly coming at his former ally's neck.
There's a particular person in that group who everyone's saying I sold out. His name is Sneaky, and he's a piece of and he deliberately did.
And yeah, I mean, obviously Sneako's name is Sneako. I don't know why it's Sneako, right? And I just don't really care that much either. But he calls himself Sneako, which obviously, short related to being sneaky, acting devious, and he kind of calls him sneaky for his sneaky behavior towards him allegedly. And then there's like in one of his responses, Sneeko goes that his name is Cobra. You literally call yourself a fucking snake, which I thought was quite funny. Right? Like I mean, everything's manufactured, okay? And you have to take this, what you're seeing online as WWE. Okay, this is the new entertainment for people, and this is, it pisses off people that are much older who see this as who can see the real world consequences of these types of actions. Okay, but the people who are actually watching this, they are just children. They're people at school who see this as entertaining WWE wrestling, and I mean, will it have much harm on the people? People might, because you have to understand, like if you act this way, the way that these people do in the real world, there are real world consequences, and the real world will always punch you in the face. Okay, it will always slap you in the face, so that the real world consequences are felt. So even if people are being influenced by these people, influencers online, once they act that way in the real world, somebody will come and slap you and punch you in the face. Okay,
something to get clicks for his views, and I should have known better. When Clav and Nick said we want to bring Sneeko, I said 5 times I don't like him, he's weird. The lesson here is to stick to my morals and
I don't like him, he's weird. Like, I mean, even if he doesn't like him, he doesn't want to be in the same room as him. Okay, that's such a girly excuse. Like, oh, I don't like him, he's very weird. Like, can we not invite somebody else? I don't like him, he's very weird. He's very weird. That's such a California Valley Girl response. He's like, oh, we're gonna invite Sneeko. He's so much fun. He's like, nah, I think he's very weird. Can't you use your extensive vocabulary to express your actual true feelings towards him? Like, oh no, I think he's a fucking dickhead. I think he's an idiot. I don't like him because of this. No, I just think it's weird. Like, it's a very girly response from somebody who is supposed to be the leader of the Red Pill movement.
Void pieces.
According to Sneeko, this is all because of the way that he lives, in terms of how it contradicts the lifestyle they promote. While for him, his faith means he approaches things differently.
This is in the Quran. It says, never will the Jews and Christians really be accepting of you until you become one of them. The reason that they attack me, and the reason that you see these personal attacks and them trying to destroy my life, is because when I became Muslim, it defeats all these subculture ideologies, these religions within the manosphere, within the...
And the problem is, like, especially with someone like Sneeko, like, he was a follower of Andrew Tate. And one of the big reasons why he ended up, I believe that he converted towards Islam, is because he saw Andrew Tate do it. Andrew Tate was his role model at that moment, his mentor, and he followed his mentor. He followed his leader. And then now, since then, he even though he I believe he followed, he became a Muslim due to somebody else's influence. Now that he's in that religion, he seems to be acting accordingly. He's doing everything, living his life as a true Muslim, according to Islam. And good for him. If that's how he finds peace in the world, good for him. And I mean, there's no right or wrong way to find religion. Okay, maybe it needed being influenced by somebody else. And Islam, people who are Muslims actively do try to convert people towards their religion because they believe that is the truth. So there's nothing wrong with it. But he is funny to me that that this is the guy who converted him towards Islam, and now they're having this war between who's the better Muslim.
Red pill. I never insulted Nick Fuentes. Find me a clip. You can see nonstop. I never have, because I don't do this with my friends, or so-called, with Andrew Tate. Even then, when we see before the club across, he says there's no beef. It's a political disagreements. Because when he promotes gambling, I call that out. It's not a personal attack, it's what you're doing. I don't attack people. I attack what they say, I criticize what they do. There can be political disagreements. And my belief is you can still be friends with people even if you disagree. I have people around that have a difference of opinion, and I'm okay with that. For other people, it doesn't seem like it's reciprocated. Because Islam destroys the red pill ideology that you should sleep with 50 women.
Since then, Andrew has gone on podcasts saying it has nothing to do with that. He claims that his rival is just using him to boost his own numbers whenever he can.
And he deliberately did something to get clicks for his views, not understanding it's going to put me in jail.
At one time, Tate could have mobilized an army against anyone he deemed to have wronged him. But these days, people have leapt to Sneako's defense, claiming that if anyone is obsessed, it's clearly the self-proclaimed.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about Sneako and his little Andrew Tate and their little beef before. So let's jump ahead to what's going on more relevant.
Volatile.
I'm too smart for books. Yeah, I'm too smart for books. So Twitter's upset about that. There's obviously some fucking broke dude who reads books who's really upset by the fact that I have a $110 million car collection and $400 million of property around the world.
Yeah, and then again, now this is, you see him what he has become now. He is just somebody who is trying to stay relevant, but just trying to piss people off. So he just tells people that, oh, reading books is for dumb people, and then I mean, this is a guy who realized, apparently, allegedly, that he the things that you own you. But then he goes straight back into reading off and listing off the things that he actually owns.
I'm one of the most well-known, relevant people. I'm one of the most famous people.
I don't think he's relevant anymore
on the fucking planet. I get asked to do podcasts about every subject, about pussy and.
I mean, if you are the most relevant person on the planet, right? Like, do you have to go around telling people that? Do you have to go around, reminding people how relevant you truly are? You know what I mean? You wouldn't have the fucking time to do it.
Bitches, geopolitics, money, you name it. There's not a fucking subject on earth that every single podcaster that these.
And why is he shouting? Like why is he shouting? Like I mean, you have to understand, like this guy is possibly not mentally stable at this point, right? Like the fact that he's getting so angry, so rolled up about a conversation that happened on Twitter, a post that he made on Twitter, people responding to that post, it's driven him to absolute insanity. Okay, he's losing his mind in real time. He's so angry. His cortisol levels are through the roof, his stress levels are through the roof, and this is somebody who is supposed to be somebody that you look up to. Like, do you want to walk around being as stressed as this guy for the rest of your life? I doubt it.
Losers watch doesn't beg me, Andrew Tate, please will you come on my show, please, with your opinions. How did I get all these?
I doubt people beg like that. Like, oh, please come on my show. It's like, no, nobody even wants you on the show. Nobody watches your
amazing opinions without reading books. Oh, I should have read books and sat at home and been fucking broke. Like all the people on Twitter who think reading's so important. Reading's so important. How come no one knows who the fuck you are? No one knows who the fuck you are. I learned all my lessons through action, through fighting. I win some fights, I lose some fights, but at least I get in there and fight. You're fucking reading.
As the pressure mounted, Tate soon found himself suffering at the hands of events outside of his control. After boasting about it for years, the war in Iran has taken its toll on his self-made empire, potentially.
Yeah, because you have to understand, like, Tate was the poster boy for twerking for Dubai. Okay, like, he loved Dubai. He promoted Dubai, saying it's the best place in the world, safest place in the world, and then this war happens, and then he absolutely lost his mind. He owned property out there, allegedly, had a lot of investments and money put in that place, and he kind of saw it disappear overnight. He saw a lot of his wealth disappear overnight, and then this strong facade again that he built up on off the back of Dubai, claiming to be one of the safest places on the world, overnight, in one swift motion, it all came crumbling down. I mean, Dubai, the story of Dubai and the story of Tate kind of go hand in hand if you really think about it. Okay, it is a mirage, it is a illusion, and then one thing goes wrong, the whole thing comes crashing down,
jeopardizing many of his investments.
What the do you even care for? I care because I have properties in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Dubai.
So literally all the fucking countries that Iran is bombing are affecting Tate, because that he's got properties in all those fucking countries, and those property prices, they're gonna take a long time to recover. Okay, unless America invades and puts its own puppet government in place, right? Like if they take full control of Iran, right, unless that was to happen, I mean, those property prices will remain low. So Andrew Tate, of course he's going crazy, of course he is stressed out, constantly anxious, having sleepless nights, because he has lost probably half of his fucking wealth that he has invested over there.
Abu Dhabi,
I care because I have over $300 million in the region. Do you? No.
$300 million in that region is probably worth like 50 million at this point. Do you know what I mean? You probably couldn't pay fucking people to buy his investments off him right now.
I care because I actively have a $5 million trading account which is trying to predict the price, long and short, of oil.
So because he's lost so much fucking money, now he's actively gambling to predict the oil price. Okay, whether it's going to recover or is not going to recover, right? He's trying to now, he needs to recover his losses. What you're looking at is just a degenerate gambler at this point. Okay, he's not somebody who's making smart investments. He's making investments based off of emotion, to recover the losses that he has made due to his, financial losses due to the war with Iran.
I can continue to be richer than you. Do you? No. I care because I have vested interest, plus I'm rich, plus I have time. Why the fuck do you care? You have no vested interest in the region.
Again, why is he shouting? Like why? Why is he shouting? It's because he's absolutely losing his mind. Okay, he is stressed out. He's probably down to his last like 10 million, and that for the type of crazy stunts that he tries to pull is probably not enough money to fund all his leased out life.
You haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. You lack the ability to critically think about any of it like I just did. So you care because it's entertaining.
And while that would be stressful for anyone, it's hard to feel any sympathy for him when you consider the dehumanizing way he treats his staff, particularly at his penthouse in Dubai.
It's like the Smurfs. They're like, hello, sir. They're like little Smurfs. They're great people. They're great people. Yeah.
And then this is the type of human he is. Okay, I mean, Dubai is it's got his issues with human rights. Taking third world people from third world countries, bring them over to Dubai to do manual labor work, and then taking hold of the passport so that they can't go back until they've at least done 2-3 years worth of labor in that country. They're being underpaid. They don't have human rights. They are living in difficult conditions, okay, building, constructing buildings under intense heat, okay, intense timelines, okay, not by Western standards, basically, okay. They don't have any workers' rights, civilian rights, and then he now is mocking those people, calling them slaves and Smurfs.
But anyway, one of them asked to finish early because she wanted to go home to see her son, who was visiting from the Philippines for the first time in 2 years.
This is supposed to be a funny story that he's telling. This is just absolutely sad.
And the other cleaner wasn't cleaning fast enough. So I was in my room, and then I heard all this Filipino. I was like, what the fuck?
And look at he's trying to tell Sneeko a story, a man that he allegedly called weird, that he doesn't like. He's telling Sneeko a story, in a way that he's trying to suck up to him. Like he's the one who's trying to impress Sneeko at this moment. Like it's really a weird dynamic that is going on.
And I came out, and the Filipinos were beating the shit. It was like a fucking fist fight between the Smurfs. Pacquiao came out. I was like, Smurfs, enough. This is a house of love. True or false? True. True story. The Smurfs had a fucking fist fight. So, the slaves sometimes get unruly.
I mean, and this is people. This is the man that people support. Okay, he doesn't give a fuck about people's human rights. He will actively call them Smurfs. I mean, this is supposed to be like somebody who's supposed to go home and see their son. They haven't seen a member of that family for 2 years. If he was a nice guy, he would have said like, "Oh yeah, of course, just take the rest of the day off, okay?" But no, he doesn't do that. He actively then uses that story to try and impress Sneeko in this weird scenario. Let's jump further ahead into more what is going on now.
He is fearful of someone who is confident in themselves.
This guy would make a psychiatrist's head explode, going out sad as fuck. Now dealing with the situation he helped create, Andrew seems to be struggling to take control again. Before, he truly believed that he was leading the way and changing how people think. But in recent interviews, he went as far as to admit that he feels his place in culture has changed, and he's been replaced by even more outrageous characters.
I guess I was lucky when I first got famous. I feel like I was in a good position because the truth was the outrage. I could say the truth about being a man and the truth about being a woman and the
Okay, so he's trying to, position himself being like that he was a truth teller, that he was telling people the truth, which was outrageous at the time, which he couldn't do, which is why he became controversial and successful. And now the people who are successful and succeeding in that space now are just doing weird stuff. So if that is how he views the situation, then I mean, and he is somebody who's trying to cling on to relevancy. The prediction would be that he is going to start doing some weird looks maxing shit because he's seeing clavicular popping off. And are you going to start seeing, maybe Andrew Tate will get a fucking his hairline, back. He's going to get a fucking hair transplant.
The world was so cucked and we were so heavily censored that it was the outrage. I can tell the truth.
Essentially have nothing else to give but be a mother.
If I'm good at, and if she comes to me and goes, Dad, what? My husband cheated on.
If anything, people are actually savoring this wake-up call. I'ma be real. This dude couldn't cut it in the real world for a second. Project manager, logistics manager, warehouse worker, any kind of real work. This dude couldn't cut it for 2 seconds in the jobs we do. His life.
Yeah, and I think people are just waking up and seeing him for what it truly is. Let's finish off. I have to go early today. So, let's just finish off with this little last bit here.
2026. Her for sure constabulary said it would reopen the investigation.
Claiming he doesn't know or
and cowardly thug, accused of some of the worst crimes possible. The government can't sit back and allow this dangerous man to hide away from justice on the.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more shit about his court cases there. But I mean, I think I'm going to leave it there. I mean, this is the sad end of somebody who captured the internet by storm, who fabricated his life, his accolades, in order to look cool. Okay, in order to sell you a dream, in order to make money. And now he is desperately trying to hold on to it. He's desperately trying to remain relevant. And, he will carry on trying to cling on to it. And it's just going to be a sad end, a sad decline to a man who fabricated his entire internet persona. But that's it for today. Thank you very much. And I will see you tomorrow.